check out Zool the Intergalactic Ninja. I used to own this game. I picked it up at KB Toys many years ago, and check out that price, 79,500 yen. JJ here, Retro ReWire, once again at the Konosu Surugaya, checking out some Famicom games at the Premiere Showcase. So another episode of In the Hunt. Let's see what they got here. Last time I was here, I got a great deal on a Neo Geo Pocket, the monochrome edition. 33,500 yen there for Turtles in Time. And then this seems to be a non-licensed Super Famicom game, but I don't know too much about it. And then what's that in the back? Sexy Parodius. But some of these games have actually been in this showcase for as long as I've been coming, and every now and then they do rotate the stock. Here we have Zenki next to R-Type 3, the third Lightning, 17,900 yen. Excellent game, that one, and I do love my R9 Ragnarok little model figure. Excellent game. And then we have Mighty Final Fight for 11,000. And we have some Sunsoft action here for 64,300 yen. And then look at that. What is that? Gem? 75,000, and then 75,000 for the Doki Doki Crazy Land Adventure amusement park thing. And then WF, what's that? WrestleMania something? That was an expensive price there. For the 32X, no doubt. 42,800 yen here for Ninja Gaiden. I think that one actually rose in price. 32,000 for Turok on the old Game Boy. I wonder how that is. And then we have Castlevania Adventures 1 and 2, and then Surugaya, which is Darius. And then we have Rendering Ranger there, 78,700 yen. Probably one of the most rare Super Famicom games. 24,100 yen for Shadowrun, and then we have Wipeout XL for 19,200 next to KO for 28,000. Now KO on the Mega CD has multiple editions. There's another one that has like a little foily slipcover, so I'm not really sure what that difference is there, but 22,400 yen for Ghouls and Ghosts. Excellent game on the old Super Graphics, which that one is also available on the PlayStation Network. High-tension comical action game, The Rapid Angel, 62,800 yen. Next to Steam Hearts for 59,900. And they actually had 2 copies of Steam Hearts. Here's another one. And the little tag there just says like there's some damage to the manual. 17,200 for Nocturne Dracula X Surgical Strike for 66,000. Again, this is like the most expensive stuff, and This particular shop is going to have a range of very affordable stuff, but as you see here, they also got the premium goods. We got Steel Empire, 35,200 yen, next to Undead Line, 55,000. Now I have the MSX2 version that was released on the Switch, a port of that. 54,400 yen for Glaylancer there. Now it has some damage to the spine, which is why it was marked down. And then we have Sayuki the Snow Princess for 79,800 yen. That's also available on the Switch. And they also had, well, look at this, Midway USA, but they also had a copy on the Wii for 11,000. Soul Divide Dragon Blaze, the combo for PS2, 12,400 yen. And Brotherhood of Steel Fallout, 8,700 yen. I wonder how that Fallout game is. And then they got a few PC titles up here. I'm not really familiar with the, Japanese PC gaming. But Waku Waku 7, 75,000, and that's just for the box. And lately, here's Matra Melee, 380,000 there. That's part of the Power Instinct series of fighting games. I think that's the last one that was released. And I've never played it, but it's also available on the PS2, and I believe we will see that version coming up. And then Kabuki Warrior for the Neo Geo CD, Far East of Eden, 13,700 yen. Let's take a look at some handhelds here. And we got some GBAs, 4,000 there for the Wonder Swan Color. I think I'm pretty, like me personally, I think I'm good with all the handhelds. Now, I mean, with that, I should be careful what I say, but I'm good with, I don't think I'm going to be buying any handhelds that I don't already own moving forward, but I will get different additions to the ones that I currently own. Kind of like that Neo Geo Pocket. I got the color, and I ended up getting a good deal on the Chrome there. Still within the same family, more or less. But 18,800 yen for a 3DS, 7,500 for that other 3DS. Maybe because of a yellow screen, perhaps. And then here, what is this? Is this just a 3DS, but that's like a Monster Hunter edition? I don't really know. We got the DS Fats and the DS Lights. These things used to litter the hard-off junk bins, but now they've made their way back into the showcase. An assortment of Neo Geo Pockets there, a bunch of colors. And PlayStation Vita, that one's coming in at 33,500 yen. That's like an OLED ceramic white, but I'm not sure why it's so expensive. And then 9,600 for this teal green 3DS. Some Game & Watches, and then we got some Pocket Pikachus in there. So a nice little end cap full of like a lot of handhelds. Look at this beautiful aisle. Just full of a bunch of games. And, well, you know, the showcase is usually where I find myself shopping the most nowadays. Because, you know, the longer you collect, you're trying to get some of the games off of your wish list. And eventually you're going to be aiming high. But thankfully, you know, for some titles, there are alternatives in the form of digital, you know, either through PlayStation Network, Nintendo eShop, and whatnot. That's not a bad price on that Mario 3 or Advance 2, whatever it's called. This one has like a damaged box. But the good old the Game Boy Advance, 6,200 yen. When I was in the States back in June, I ended up bringing my brother's Game Boy Advance. He wasn't playing it. So I'll take good care of it, bro. What do we have here? Wario Land 2. And look at this, 2,670 yen. Probably some damage there, because some of these other ones are coming in at like almost twice the price. Wario Land 3, but I do like the Wario Land series, and I think I have them all, which is kind of like I should keep better track of some of the games that I have. I don't think I have Wario Land 3. That's the one I don't have. Or Wario Land on the Virtual Boy. But I do want to play that Virtual Boy release. Here we got some, what was that? Game Boy Bomberman 3 in the little tin case. We have some Game Gear action mixed in with the Game Boy titles. We got Puyo Puyo 2. But a nice little selection here of Game Boy games. I do like collecting for the Game Boy, although I was buying more Game Boy games at the beginning of the year. And since it's been a while since I've beaten one, I've kind of put it on hold. And that Donkey Kong Game Boy, that's the one that I'm currently playing. Been playing it off and on for over like a year. It's kind of a tough game too. I'm like in I can't even remember where I'm at, but I think I'm in like the second to last or the last world. And man, that platforming gets like serious. Anyhow, we got some GameCube. 1,740 for the Sonic Mega Collection. You could find that one for about 900 yen at select book-offs. And what do we have here? Mario Sunshine. Super Mario Sunshine for 3,000 and some change. 3,000 there for Sonic Adventure Battle Part 2. Or Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. And let's see. What do we got? Some Naruto. 760 yen. And then F-Zero GX, 5,200 yen. That's probably, or this game here is probably the one that, at the moment, I'm most wanting for the GameCube. But it's still low priority. Here we have Bloody Roar for 5,900 yen. But kind of going back to that F-Zero on the N64, I was playing that game. And that's the game that kind of convinced me to hold on to my N64 for longer. Because I was thinking about getting rid of it, but I had such a great time playing F-Zero on the old N64, and it plays so fast. And I used to own GX on the old Cube, so I will probably pick that up. But again, low priority. Here we have Luigi's Mansion. What else do we have? We got some Mega Man Battle Network type of game. Or what's that? Rockman something. What's that? Prime 2 and then Prime there for 4,000. Although that Metroid Prime is a bit mangy. I have that on the Switch, and I should really play it because I was playing it like a few months ago in the beginning, and it's visually it's pretty impressive. Super Mario Galaxy 2 was just released on the Switch. 2,200 yen for that Wii version, and I paid 50 yen for mine. Wonder Goo, keep that on your map, on your stores, places to hit up. Wonder Goo sometimes comes through with the deals. And they're a fairly big franchise, and they're found throughout Japan. So, what do we have here? Perfect Dark. I do like this cover. 7,500 yen. All red with the femme fatale type of vibe. We got The Legend of Zelda, 3390. There was one for 1770, and then here we have Majora's Mask for 8,500 yen. I do have that same edition, but it's missing the manual. What else do we have here? We got Star Wars, what's that? A Rogue Squadron. And then Star Fox, love Star Fox, 2,980. And then Episode 1 Racer, 4,460. I do want to pick that up, but I want to wait and hopefully find it for the Dreamcast next time I'm in the States. In fact, I saw it at Sunken Treasure. I should have picked it up then. I'm not really sure what the heck this is, but as you just saw there in that wide shot, quite a bit of DS games. And I'm just going to pull some random ones out. What do we have here? Riz Zod. This is like a Wizard of Oz type of game. I think it's pretty obvious, yeah? 4810 there. I wonder if it's any good. And then I'm not. This one did get a release stateside. It's like some kind of role-playing game. I forget the English translation name, but I remember seeing it in magazines, and it seemed kind of interesting. I'm sure like the DS has loads of like quality RPGs. And then Another Code. Did that get a re-release or a remake on the whatchamacallit on the Switch? And then Dead Note here for 2380. I never once read the manga or even have seen a single episode of the anime. If they did make one, I'm not really sure. We got some Hello Kitty action there for 1780. But the DS, such a rich library. And a diverse library at that. Look at this. All sorts of stuff. Great little handheld. And then what do we have up here? We got some peripherals there. And some Pokemon stuff there. Again, I don't know too much about Pokemon, but we'll keep it moving here. We got some Famicom titles. I think for the Famicom, the one game, I got rid of my Super Mario Bros. 3 because it was pretty banged up. And I want to get something a little bit cleaner, but man, sometimes that game can be upwards of 8,000, but sooner or later I'll find it for like about, I'm hoping like 2,500 yen. That's what I feel comfortable paying for it. But a lot of stuff here for the Famicom. And what else do we have? Here we have Kirby, 5,100 yen. You could still find that one for about 3,000 and some change. But the condition and will vary, so keep that in mind. Here we have some Gambare Goemon action, 4950 here. I believe that's what, part 4, and this is part 3 here for 6,000. Part 2 is usually always the most expensive at 7,000, 7,100 yen. And then the original, look at this, 1360. Now, it's saying that the cassette is dirty and that the manual is wrinkly and that the box has some damage, but that's still a pretty good deal on an excellent game, one of my favorite games on the Super Famicom and Super Nintendo for that matter. That was Darius 2. What do we have here? Some Poppin' Twinbee, 5,400 yen. And then we have Final Fight 2 for 3,940. It's amazing that game has jumped up to that. Well, I shouldn't be surprised, but before, it was about like sub 2,000. with the original Final Fight kind of holding its value up to upwards of 5,000. Here we have another Rainbow Twin Bee. Now that price was just for the box, because as you can see here, this one 9,400 yen, although it has some damage. But this one here is just for the box, 2690. And I believe I can't remember if it was here where they also had like the loose cart for about 3,000 yen. So you can build it. You could definitely build it. 9,600 yen, area 88. I do want a copy of that game, but I want to pay like half that price. And where was it? It was along the line of Chuo line out in Tokyo, where there was a hard off or a book off that had quite a few copies for about 6,000 yen. Here we have Contra Spirits, Area 88, Loose Cart 2190, and then Edono 4830 there. I want to play that one. It seems kind of interesting. And then we got some UFO, some Ramen Dude 34 and some change. It was a beat 'em up, and then Sparkster there, but they have some pretty Knights of the Round 5,400 yen, but they have some pretty quality titles in here. Congo's Caper 4750 or Caveman Ninja 2. We got some Rockman X3 1490, but not a bad assortment of loose Super Famicom carts. And then behold the showcase. This store, I've been coming here for quite some time now, for a few years, and this showcase is always impressive. 24,900 yen for Metal Slug 2, Super Street Fighter 2X for 25,800 yen, and then Dai Makaimura for 16,000. That's the lowest that I've seen that game. And the reason why it was marked down is because of the sleeve was a little bit damaged. But man, oh man. Here we have Download for 12,000. And then this is like another shoot 'em up for 7,300 yen on the old PC Engine. And then Tatsujin for 63,400 yen. And what else do we have in here? We got Image Fight 2, 11,100 yen. Now, this version is a part of the IRM Collection Volume 2 on the Switch PS4. But sometimes you just want to dig into the original. You know what I'm saying? We got the Combat Police, 9,800 yen. And there's that KO. Next to that on the left was KO with that different edition. I don't know if it's like a different game or what the heck is up with that. But or Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold there. And then Taito Chase HQ Plus SCI for 15,800 yen next to Twinkle Star Sprites, Groove On Fight, Dracula X, Dungeons and Dragons, Hyper Duel. They got all the hits here. Bulk Slash for 27,600 yen. Now the Momotaro Kingdom out in Kisarazu had a copy for 7,000, but the manual was damaged. Here we have Cotton Boomerang, Tech Romancer for 8,600 yen next to some Project Justice, Rival Schools 8,800 for Gunbird 2, and then Metal Slug 2 again, 24,900 yen next to Popful Mail there for 24,300 yen on the old PC Engine. But man, oh man! And then here's one that I would like to have this in the collection: The Legend of Hero Tonma. I do like the IRM games. Man, I'm such a huge fan. They're definitely I would say they're in my top 5, for the retro developers. They had an amazing output, especially with R-Type. Here we have some Mega CD titles, and then there's like this Namcot Alice-inspired game. We got Geppy X, Captain Commando for 20,000, 30,900 yen for old Geppy X, and then what's this? Another copy of Download for 16,200 yen. And then Fantastic Night Dreams Cotton, 2 copies with one coming in at 15,600 yen. I do want to add that into the PC Engine collection. And then we have Project Gaia Seed for 48,800 yen. I do have a copy of that, but just digital. I purchased it off of PSN, the PlayStation Network, and it's still available. And you could do that either through the PlayStation Vita or the PlayStation 3. Kind of an interesting title, too. And it does have English language support, Gaia Seed. 15,500 yen there for Kiki Kai Kai. And they had 2 copies. Beautiful cover to that. I'll probably add that into the collection sooner or later. And then these are the PSX firmware update discs, with one of them coming in at 9,800 yen. That's crazy. And I imagine those may have been free, but here's Matra Melee, the PlayStation 2 port. 27,100 yen. So still a pricing game even on the old PS2. And what the heck is that? Garo. 10,200 yen. Got some DS titles. And check this one out. 38,000 for this like kiddie game on the Wii. I don't think I've ever seen that one. But dang, man, that's a pricey one. Mushihime-sama, 11,000. Next to Dodonpachi, 15,600 yen. We got Taito Memories Legends 2. I'm not sure what the heck that is, but it's 12,000. They got 2 copies. SNK looks like it's is the publisher there. Could that be Samurai Showdown Sen? Oh, it is. And then Mushihime-sama and then Mushihime-sama Futari, 12,400 yen. You could definitely find Futari for less. And then here's Raiden Aces, 19,900 yen. Now that one is definitely on my list. It looks like an awesome shooter. Never played it before, but it'll happen. What else do we have? We got the PC Engine Best Collection there. A lot of excellent shooters from the Soldier series. And then up above, the PlayStation 30th anniversary here for edition for 97,800 yen. And I think that's just the standard one. I don't think it's the Pro. And then we have Kabuki Warrior, Far East of Eden, 62,700 yen. And then Nam, 1975 for 31,900 yen, both for the AES. Biohazard 3 there for the GameCube. And what else do we have in here? We got some Super Famicom, Game Boy. We got some RD Lightfoot, 22,500 yen. And this cover has kind of like a similar vibe to that Zool with the white framing. And then Batman Returns for 12,100 yen. I can't believe that one's that expensive. We got Super Valis for 8,800 yen. Super Metroid for 15,200 yen. And Vulcan for 13,900 yen. Now Vulcan you can still find for in the 8,000 range. You might have to dig a little bit, but there's still less expensive copies out there. Then we have Nosferatu, 19,900 yen. I play that one every now and then, and it's a tough game. But a very good one at that. Kind of plays similar in a way to Prince of Persia. Terra Enigma there. What else do we have? Got that Nigel racing game. That one's an expensive one as well. And then here, what the heck is this? Something Brain. That's kind of a cool cover. I've never seen that one before. And then Knuckles Chaotix for 34,500 yen. Just kind of chilling back there. We got some Rockman titles and then Rock and Roll Racing for 7,700 yen. I used to rent that one all the time. And I believe that's like a Interplay and then developed by Blizzard. I believe they started on the Super Nintendo, and then shortly after that, they just stayed exclusive to the PC. Here we got some GBA, some hardcore GBA titles. We got Klonoa, Zelda the Minish Cap, Guardian Heroes Advance. I forget that had a port or a release on the old Game Boy Advance. We got Dynamite Heady here for the Mega Drive, and then Twinkle Tail for 157,000 yen next to Wings of War. And then another copy of Dynamite Heady, Elysia Dragoon for 28,900 yen. And then Time Dominator, Captain Lang. Those are 2 interesting titles there. Treasure Land for 36,500 yen. And then this Kabuki, this game was by Taito. It's a arcade game ported over to the Mega Drive. And then Yu Yu Hakusho. Now this is a fighting game developed by Treasure. And look at this. My favorite Genesis game, The Adventures of Batman and Robin. It's just kind of chilling here. This is the North American version. And what's the price on that bad boy? 22,400 yen. Now, when I went to the States, I picked up a loose cart. And it's probably going to stay that way for a while. And then we have Atomic Runner for 20,400 yen. All 3 copies at that price. We got Whip Rush for 3370. Now, this one is missing the manual. Next to Gauntlet. And we got some Sonic and Knuckles back there. And then we have Warrior Aleste. 25,100 yen. Now, this one is missing the manual. Otherwise, it would be up where, like the other copy there for 35,800 yen. And they also have Spider-Man and Venom's Separation Anxiety. Virtua Fighter on the 32X, 29,700 yen. Next is something Squad. And then just an assortment of PC titles here. But they had some good stuff on the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. The Adventures of Batman and Robin. If you haven't played that, highly recommended, man. That game is hardcore. Here we got some Jackie Chan. 47,000. Now, Jackie Chan has games on the PS1, the PC, and the PC Engine. And there it is, Adventures of Batman and Robin. Bare Knuckle 3, 13,100 yen. It is missing the manual. Man, I wasn't expecting to see that, The Adventures of Batman and Robin. Very tempting for me. Freaking love that game. Here we got the Screw Controller, the Negcon, 4,480 yen. And then we have the Wiimote Princess Peach Edition there for 4,200 yen. The 6-button Genesis controller for 1,880. And another 6-button Genesis controller. A third-party release. And then this little Mad Catz gun. Now, when I saw this, I kind of started getting flashbacks. And I think I used to own this in the States. Or at least something very similar to it. Here we got the 360 USB controller. I'm still looking for one of these, but I'm going to get mine from the junk section. I don't want to pay more than 1,000 yen for it. Here we got some junk consoles. What's this Dreamcast coming in at? 5,500 yen. And it had a whole bunch of notes, probably like yellowed, maybe non-working. Here you're going to find all sorts of peripherals, controllers, all that good stuff. We got the Neo Geo CD Bean controller. And this is the one that I mostly use nowadays. 6,100 yen. I do enjoy that joystick. And then here we have, what the heck is the ST key? Haven't seen that one in forever. My goodness. We got the PS1 mouse. Sometimes they hang manuals here, and I do like looking through that because there's a few games like Super Aleste where I'm missing the manual. And sooner or later, you know, those things will come around. Here we got the vertical stand, 2,100 yen. I recently picked up a vertical stand for my PS2 Slim. And here we have all sorts of Tamagotchi. 4,600 yen, 2,230, 1,900 yen. Prices are kind of all over the map. And then arcade sticks and keyboards and train controllers. Here we have the Virtua Stick for the Saturn coming in at 6,200 yen. And it looks fairly clean. And they also had the Dreamcast controller in the box for 7,400 yen. I think earlier in the year when I went to the Super Book Off Bazaar in Kobe, that controller was 2,500 yen. Here we have the Mayflash arcade stick. That's the one that I currently use. A great stick. And then we have the flight stick for the Saturn, and that's going to be the Space Harrier bundle, which is always expensive no matter where I find it. Always good to see Sega Saturn front and center. And look at all this hardware. This hardware is usually stacked, and I have to wonder if it even moves. I'm sure like these Xbox 360s have been the same ones that I've seen throughout the years. Or those original Xbox, excuse me. 23,200 yen there for the Sharp, the Twin Fami. And back to the old Mega Drive here. Let's see, what do we got? Golden Axe 3, 8,400 yen. Now this is missing the manual, but it will include the game. Usually when it has like the little blue Surugaya card, they have the game behind the counter. Here we have Super Airwolf, 11,800 yen. Haven't played this one, but I do like the artwork on the chopper in the back. And then another Genesis games, Toe Jam and Earl Panic on Funkatron for 7,000 yen. I believe that's the sequel, yeah? 7,000 yen. We got Tatsujin Expert, 6,300 yen. And Darius 2 for 2,430. Not bad, not bad. I do want to get Darius Extra for the old Sega Mega Drive, which is available on Amazon Japan. Here we have Gunstar Heroes, 7,700 yen, missing the manual. And they had quite a few games that, you know, were missing, that were just missing manuals. Golden Axe there. And then Monster Lair. I have this, but I have the PC Engine version. What else do we have? We got Bare Knuckle 2, 6,100 yen. That's not actually too bad. We got Hellfire for 6,600 yen with the few notes. And what else do we have here? We got Jungle Strike, Thunder Force 4 for 9,200 yen. But the spines, they're definitely faded there. I don't know what the heck this is. Ultra Core. This must be like a new release, obviously. Then we got Quackshot for 5,500 yen. I had a great time playing that one, although I never beat it. And that's usually the way that it goes, especially nowadays, yeah? We usually play some games and leave them halfway. Because there's so many freaking options, and then, of course, live. Here we got the MPEG movie card, the video CD movie card. And that wasn't a bad price there. Although it is definitely like a novel item, because there's only a handful of games that will support it. But I do have a CG collection disc for the Sega Saturn that requires that card, so I'll probably pick it up. This is by Data West, and I wonder if Data West most likely is affiliated with Data East. I think R-Type Complete CD, 6,600 yen. That's actually the lowest that I've seen that in a while. I do like the cover to this, but that's like some hardcore strategy RPG, I think, maybe. But a very cool cover. And then Choaniki Super Big Brother, 3990. And this copy, 6,500 yen. But I don't really see anything that's why the price difference, yeah. And then here we have, what is this? Tenchi Muyo, which I believe they used to play that on Cartoon Network late in the evenings. Then we have Mr. Heli, 3380. This was a game that wasn't originally on my list, but I picked it up, and it's good. It's really fun. I'm glad that I picked it up, and I will be picking up the IRM Collection Volume 3 on the Switch. That one was released earlier in the year, and I definitely want to add that into the collection. Here we have P47, and then Super Star Soldier. I don't have this one yet. 5,100 and well, here's one for 4,100 yen. The Soldier series, pretty good. Here we got Chase HQ, 4390. And I used to own that one, although I got rid of my copy because it had like a really strong cigarette smell, which is the reason why it was very inexpensive. We got the Super Game Boy 2, 8,100 yen, and then we got a Game Boy Micro, 19,300 yen, and 24,400 yen. And if you want one in the box, 40,000. So that's prices are kind of all over. And check this out. This is like a Pepsi Nintendo 3DS special edition, 450,000. And it even has like the little, I wonder if they even used this thing. Look at that. That's definitely a rarity there. And the price is, that's a premium. Super premium. We got all sorts of Game Boys, from the Micro, the Color, the Advance, Pokemon editions. There's even a Wonder Swan there in the mix, 16,400 yen. And there's like an SD card adapter for the GameCube. I've never seen that. And we got a Nintendo 3DS Pokemon edition, 165,000. And a whole bunch of DS lights. And what do we got? PlayStation Vita here, 19,700 yen. That's a 2000 series. We got the PSP Go, 30,400 yen. And then this blue and white two-tone PSP, 34,800 yen. That thing is nice looking. Normally, I'm not a big fan of the two-tone stuff, but that one, it's not too bad. And then here we have a Game Boy Micro accessory for 16,500 yen. It seems to be some kind of like wireless transmitter. 26,500 yen for the pink PS2 Slim. We got the gold one-piece PS3 for 25,000. 168,000 for the Neo Geo AES. And we got some strategy guides. There's a Game Gear there. That's going to be the Magic Knight Ray Earth edition. And then we got the 3DO FZ1. 17,200 yen. And we're going to zoom in. And as you can see, we got our A and B switch there. Now, in my experience, every FZ1 that I've seen always has that switch. At least in Japan. I've never seen one without it. But they apparently they do exist, but I think those might be more rare than the one that does include the switch. Which, you know, that's going to toggle between 240 and 480i apparently. We got some PS5s, and look at the difference in the box size between like the Slim and the original PS5 Fat. I mean, that's a huge difference there. Look at that. Freaking huge. And one of them includes 2 controllers there. We got Cowboy Bebop. But anyhow, we're going to end things here. Always a great time coming out to the Surugaya in Konosu. As a matter of fact, lately I've been kind of prioritizing my game hunting at Surugaya because select Surugaya shops have been slashing the prices on certain things. And, you know, sometimes when you find like a B rank game, it's considerably cheaper, kind of like that Gambare Goemon for the Super Famicom. Y'all saw that. 1320, I believe, was the price. Then down below, we got a deal that's hot. It's so hot, it's going to trigger the alarm here. 11,400 yen. But yeah, a great time coming out here to the Surugaya. In fact, in the next episode, we'll be heading to another Surugaya. And I think we will do that again in the following episode after that. So definitely stay tuned. And I will see you all very, very soon. Ciao.